You have a free evening, nothing you have to do. And there it is, the thing you keep saying you want. The song you want to write, the painting, the side project, the book, the workout, the dream you talk about. It is right there. No one is stopping you. This is the moment you have been waiting for. And instead, you pick up your phone. Or you clean a kitchen that was already clean. Or you decide suddenly, urgently, that now is the time to reorganize a drawer. You do anything at all, except the one thing you actually want to do. And later, lying in bed, you feel it. That quiet ache of another evening gone, another day you did not become the person you keep promising to be. Here's the part that makes no sense. You do not avoid the things you hate this much. You avoid the things you love. The more something matters to you, the harder it can be to begin. Why? Why would your own mind sabotage the very thing you care about most? For years, we told a simple story about this. Procrastination is laziness, a lack of discipline, a time management problem. If you just wanted it badly enough, you would do it. But decades of research have quietly dismantled that story, because procrastination has almost nothing to do with time or laziness. The researchers who study it, people like Pychyl and Fuschia Sirois, found something else entirely. Procrastination is not a time management problem, it is an emotion management problem. Here's what that means. When you sit down to do the thing, your brain does a quick, invisible scan, and it does not feel the task. It feels a feeling, maybe anxiety, maybe self-doubt, maybe the fear that what you make will not match the beautiful version in your head, and that feeling is uncomfortable. So your brain does what brains are built to do. It moves away from discomfort toward anything that feels better right now. Checking your phone, cleaning, a snack. These are not random distractions. They are mood repair. Small, instant hits of relief that make the bad feeling go away for a few minutes. Procrastination is not you avoiding the work. It is you avoiding an emotion, and your brain is wired to make that trade. Deep inside sits the limbic system, old, fast, and obsessed with right now. It wants relief immediately. Against it stands the prefrontal cortex, the calm planner that cares about your future self, the one who will be proud tomorrow. But the future self is an abstraction. The discomfort is real, and it is here. So in the moment, the old brain almost always wins. You choose the version of you that feels good now, and quietly betray the version of you that would feel good later. But we still have not answered the strangest part. Why the things you love? Why is it the dream, specifically, that is so hard to start? Here's the twist that changes everything. It is not despite caring. It is because you care. Think about it. A task you are indifferent to has no stakes. If it goes badly, so what? But the thing you love is wrapped up in who you are. It carries your identity. So when you sit down to do it, you are not just risking a bad afternoon. You are risking proof. Proof that maybe you are not as good as you hoped. That the dream in your head is bigger than what your hands can make. As long as you do not start, the dream stays perfect, untouched, safe. The moment you begin, it has to survive contact with reality. And some part of you would rather protect the dream than test it. This is why perfectionists are often the worst procrastinators. It is not that they do not care enough. It is that they care too much, and the gap between their standards and a messy first attempt feels unbearable. So they wait for the right mood, the right time, the version of themselves who will finally be ready. But here is the trap. Every time you avoid the task, you feel a flash of relief, and then, almost immediately, something worse. Guilt, shame, the sting of knowing. And that bad feeling becomes one more emotion to escape, which sends you back to your phone, which deepens the shame. Procrastination is a loop, and it runs on the very feeling it creates. So what actually breaks it? Not more discipline, not hating yourself into starting. In fact, the research points somewhere surprising. People who forgive themselves for procrastinating procrastinate less the next time. Because the moment you stop treating the feeling as an enemy, it loses its grip. The goal was never to feel ready. You will almost never feel ready. The goal is to let the discomfort exist and begin anyway, badly, imperfectly, for 2 minutes before the old brain even notices. Because starting, it turns out, is the thing that dissolves the fear, not the other way around. So the next time you find yourself cleaning a spotless kitchen while the thing you love sits waiting, try to see it for what it really is. That is not laziness. It is not a broken will. It is a small, frightened act of love, a part of you trying to protect a dream by keeping it safe from you. But dreams were never meant to stay safe. They were meant to be made, and the only way to keep one alive is to risk it, one imperfect, ordinary beginning at a time.